that sound from the V8 is great.
Yeah, amazing, mate.
Hello, welcome to Invictus Motors. The Audi R8 is what we have right here in front of us. This is the 2014 Audi R8, obviously facelift. And to give you a bit of context, the Audi R8 was first launched to the world through the film Iron Man. And it was one of the first cars, and I think it was the first production road car that had LED lights at the front and LED lights at the back. So it's quite a thing. Now in the 2014 version, well, the facelift version that they introduced in 2013 onwards, what is it that's different? Well, firstly, the front bumper has been restyled. Of course, the grills are a bit more prominent, as well as the whole front area has just been improved and bettered. You also get a lot more prominent aluminium trim around the vehicle, and to the back is where the big massive changes has happened. That's starting from the fact that it's got a completely brand new rear valance right there. The exhaust tips here as well have been sort of improved, and from an evolutionary point of view have been improved aesthetically. The Audi R8, the first generation, is based off the chassis and the platform of the Lamborghini Gallardo. You of course have the 4.8 litre V8 engine in this. This, from a big facelift or a big change point of view, has the 7-speed S-Tronic Dual Clutch Transmission, no longer the R-Tronic single clutch transmission like you had in the older Audi R8s, you know, going back to 2007 until 2013. The R-Tronic transmission was one like being an old person that stumbles every time it's changing a gear. The S-Tronic takes it to this level of smoothness, comfortability, and with what it's like to drive. And you can actually find that area just being improved and lifted up a little bit as well. On the inside, it's finished in this gorgeous red leather interior. It's not been overdone, other than the seats being red and some of the door cards being red as well as black. The whole of the front dash is in black. It's finished in this gorgeous pearl grey, well, Daytona pearl grey metallic colour, complemented with the 19-inch Audi R8 5-spoke alloys. And to kind of talk about this car any further than this, I need to sit in this seat behind the steering wheel and drive it. Now is the moment of truth, because it means we get to drive this R8. Right from the get-go, unlike the earlier first generation, well, this is still technically first generation, but unlike the early Audi R8 with the R-Tronic transmission, on a road like this, I mean, it just held on to the first gear for way too long. And as I said, it was as if it was an old man stumbling or an old woman stumbling. In any case scenario, the S-Tronic transmission is so incredibly smoother that Audi are saying that when you're launching something like this, it's 0.3 seconds quicker than of course, the previous transmission, Audi R8s with the R-Tronic transmission. Now, the S-Tronic transmission is dual clutch, 7-speed, and of course, this being the V8, it's got 4.2 litre engine that produces 424 brake horsepower, 429 Newton meters of torque, and the 0 to 62 miles per hour is possible in 4.5 seconds. The top speed on this is 187 miles an hour. This being the V8 Spyder, it's the convertible. They're a lot more desirable as opposed to the coupes. Just making sure that I've got all standard settings selected, which I have, and we'll get to put our foot down and just enjoy this throughout this drive. Whoa, this really goes. Spec-wise, this is incredibly well spec'd with the mag-ride suspension system that you can press this button right here to stiffen the damping control system. I like to drive it just in the softer, comfortable suspension setting, but you know, if you do like to drive your cars hard, especially around corners, you've got that button there to do exactly that. You've also got the sports button here as well, if you like to have your keys held for a bit of time to get these beautiful pops and bangs. You can do that too. which we will try now. Again, it's something I like to do manually because I do like to have my cars engaging. So I like to use my paddle shifts. From just the refinement side of things, this facelift R8 has got so many critical improvements. I mean, the earlier, the kind of first generation of the Audi R8s, I found them extremely raw, and the suspension setup just horrendous, and just not to my satisfaction, with all due respect. Yes, I do like my cars to be a bit of a stunt and a show car, especially when you're driving something like the Audi R8, but at the same time I do want the comfortable aspects to it, where it's got to have the later dual clutch transmission. It's got to have a suspension setup that isn't hard, rigid and backbreaking, and it kind of ticks the R8, the facelift R8 ticks all those boxes for me. You've got the flat bottom steering wheel with paddle shifts. That just gives you that added amount of engagement, which is nice to have in a car like this. And overall, the other sort of spec items this has is the heated steering, the heated seats. I'm sitting on the sports seats. They're heated. This has got the Bang & Olufsen sound system. The R8s are, of course, quattro, the all-wheel drive, all-weathered, kind of, in that sense, practical-ish, meaning that you don't have to worry about the back end going on you because it's the quattro all-wheel drive system. And now is where we can just open it up a little bit. Wow. Third gear, speed I can't be mentioning, but boy oh boy, it goes. And I think this is a very alluring side to the Audi R8s. When it comes to raw speed, it picks up. And the facelift version with the 7-speed S-Tronic Dual Clutch Transmission helps with how that power is delivered to the wheel. And this being the Spyder variant just takes it, from a desirability point of view, from a 5 to a 10, I think. Because I think when you want to own something like this, it's got to be a Spyder and not a coupe. This also has the rear view parking camera, as well as front and rear parking sensors. Spec wise, this is probably one of the much better spec Audi R8s. And overall, this has had a big major service with gearbox, oil replaced, spark plugs being done, and practically all major serviceable items, like having 4 new tires, the rear suspension has also been replaced. So it's nice to be able to have an R8 which isn't going to need another £10,000 spending on. Now, in terms of the number of owners, this has got 3 former keepers. The current 4th owner, Mr. Martin Brown, he's had it since November 2021. He's purchased a Porsche 911 GTS from us and traded this R8 in, and we are very happy having this in our stock. I think it's just an absolutely incredible car, and as I said, the S-Tronic transmission does it for me. Furthermore, in terms of service history, it's got a pretty good service history, and the last service was done roughly, I think, 800 or 900 miles ago in October 2022, and that's had the oil change, the oil filter, the dust and pollen filter, the brake fluid, the gearbox oil replaced, the spark plugs, and it had a new air cleaner element done as well, which is another separate air filter in comparison to the standard air filter that we find in these Audi R8s. All in all, it's been well maintained, well looked after, and I think if you're looking for an Audi R8, you know, with good mileage, good owner's history, and just been looked after, and overall from a cosmetic, from a consumable or from a servicing point of view, just from a maintenance side of things, it's also had two new rear shocks, 4 new tires all around. I think this is an absolutely ready to go Audi R8, and anyone that does buy it would not be disappointed at all in any way, form or shape. So thank you for watching our videos. Don't forget to subscribe. I appreciate your time, because that equals to money being paid by YouTube. We donate that money to a UK registered charity. We use it to build wells in Afghanistan. Got a school being built as we speak right now. And we've got something around 120 kids on an orphanage program there. So every single second and every single moment of your time, you know, means something positive on our end. And should you want to donate to that cause directly, the link is in the description below. And see you next time. Bye-bye. That sound from the V8 is great.
Yeah, amazing, mate, isn't it?
It is genuinely amazing. Yeah, it's available. Come and buy it. Thank you.